Hi everybody, it's Nick, more on the menopause. Me embracing becoming a crone. God, what a grumpy crone I am today, just so frustrated. This is the second attempt to do this vlog actually. I've just had to shut the doors behind me because what is it about the people that nobody can seem to notice when you're in the middle of something and perhaps don't need interrupting, or is that just me being a grumpy old crone? Somebody else get like that? Because I get so frustrated. I think this is definitely something I've become much more sensitive to with the menopause. I get really, really frustrated when people infringe on my space or my time when I'm trying to do stuff. It's really, even now I'm feeling quite wound up by it, which you can probably tell. But to the point of this blog, I wanted to widen the discussion beyond the menopause, because the menopause is a transitional big phase for us in our middle ages. But really, let's get to the root cause of all this. We're actually talking about hormones. So the female hormone system is an incredibly sophisticated, very, very interlinked system. It has a massive impact on all kinds of our biology, our mental and emotional state, and in fact is really a very fundamental system that just gets our neurological, our brain system to work. The research backs all of that up. And we put a lot of focus on, say for example, our hormones at the puberty stage of our life, and I think we are definitely getting more traction and focus on the menopausal stage. But the whole of our life we live with hormones, and our hormones are talking to us all the time. And I think the difference is, for years and years and years, I know that I had PMT, and we just, all of us, I can hear us saying, oh, it's just PMT, and then we come on and we think it'll be okay, and we just ride it out till the next month. Well, maybe it's not okay. Maybe we should have been, or maybe we should be living in a world where we should be taught more to listen to that hormonal system and what it's trying to tell us. And I think certainly what's happened for me in my menopause, it's just exploded. And everything I feel is just so much more acute and extreme. Therefore, I can no longer ignore what my hormones are trying to tell me. But it does make me think, this isn't something that should just happen now. This is something we should be talking about at a much earlier stage and much more frequently. Hormones are something that we live with throughout our whole life. And maybe if we understood them better and we lived more in line with listening to our bodies, perhaps menopause wouldn't be such a bloody shock, which it is. And maybe we would just be able to be kinder to ourselves. Because sometimes, I'm not sure, I know I'm not that kind to myself in terms of just saying, oh, it's PMT, get on with it, you're just teary. But what if it's not just that? What if our bodies are trying to talk to us? So today, in the last few days, if I'm really honest, I'm really knackered. You could probably just tell looking at me. There's just an exhaustion that comes over me at periodic intervals. And I think we live in a world, we have this tendency to fight it because, there's always something that needs to be done, and go, and rat race, and all that bollocks and stuff. And, maybe it's just my body telling me that it is knackered, it is tired, and can it please have a rest? Can it please have some time out? And maybe it's also my body saying that, I'm just doing more than I'm actually physically capable of doing right now. And maybe a different perspective might be that it's helping me to prioritise and saying, well, actually, you are knackered, so you just need to, how can you simplify this? How can you just do the stuff that really needs to be done and just ignore the rest of it? And maybe I need to listen to it rather than, I don't know if other people do this, I'm sure if I do, I suspect others do, beat yourself up saying, oh, you just need to keep going, you just need to get through it. Maybe we don't. Maybe we actually need to take a rest. Maybe we just need to listen to our bodies and understand that it is actually trying to tell us something. It's the same with rage. I get this, definitely as part of the menopause, this rage that boils up inside of me, and I don't even know sometimes where it's coming from. There's just so much that builds up in each and every one of us over so long a period of time. And the thing is, it's not the rage and anger that makes you ill. I think it's the keeping it in, the not allowing it to flow, that can make us ill. I think, that we need to own our rage. I mean, rage and anger in itself is energy. We need to own it, and we need to let it flow, and we need to take a good hard look at it, and we need to get below the surface of it and say, well, what is behind that? What is making me so angry? What is making me so, enraged? Is it because actually I'm having a perfectly reasonable response? Is it something that is just unfair and wrong? And what is it that really sits behind that rage and that anger? Because I don't think it comes from nowhere. And I think one of the things menopause does is is telling us to look at these things, and it's perhaps telling us to open the doors to some rooms that we perhaps hadn't cleaned out as we needed to, and really deal with what's left in there. The same with anxiety. You know, I definitely am so much more anxious through the menopause. Things, little pissy things that I think, I don't know why they're making me anxious, but again, it's getting to the root cause. What is it that really sits behind that anxiety? And anxiety, you know, at its core is fear, and that's the easiest way for it to get into our consciousness, is through fear. So it is very much feel the fear and do it anyway. And again, it's just back to listening to our bodies, to look at it. What is it about that thing that's creating the anxiety? You know, turn around, what is it about it that's actually making you fearful? And I generally find, for me, there's just some bigger principle at the back of it, whether it be a fear of scarcity, or something that's happened before and it's triggered something in my brain or whatever it is. And it's like, gosh, this has been said to me my whole life. Even more so now, is, you know, I'm too sensitive, I'm oversensitive, and ironically, in nature, if you live, you know, living in nature, it's really, really important to be hypersensitive, because it's often the way you survive. You know, hypersensitive listening, hypersensitive senses of smell, and so forth. And yet, in our man-made world, it can really be quite detrimental. But what being sensitive means is that, you know, you don't put up with sloppiness, or you don't want to put up with sloppiness. You don't want to put up with unfairness. You don't want to put up with you know, people behaving badly and so forth. And that can obviously often be labelled as being oversensitive. But is it? Is it really? Or have we actually got our perspective completely wrong on sensitivity? And is it actually our bodies telling us that something's not right there? And actually we're having a reaction to that, because if we were in nature, we would be using sensitivity in a really different way. The same as, I think I've talked a lot about sadness, and the sadness that does come, and the sense of loss, maybe loss of oneself, maybe loss of what you could have been, maybe loss over perceived lost opportunities or potential. I mean, they're all perceived, they're not real at all. But, you know, grief is an absolutely fundamental part of life, and grief isn't just about a physical death of a loved one. Grief can be about so many things, you know, a change in your life, loss of something, and it's just something that, you know, holds a hand and walks with us. And you know, I think we need to let the tears flow, and I think we need to let the grief out. And maybe part of what happens in the menopause is all of these things: the rage, the anger, the anxiety, the sensitivity, the grief. They've all been bottled up for so long, because for so long we haven't listened to our hormones. We haven't listened or tried to get behind what they're really telling us. And it's like the floodgates open in the menopause, and it just all comes out. And I think part of what brings so much of the tiredness is maybe there's just this massive internal change going on as we transition, and all of this stuff that has been unheard and unreleased over the years needs to come out somewhere. And these are philosophical musings that I find helpful, because yes, I do have my medical consultant who supports me. Yes, I do use a combination of HRT and vitamin supplements, as well as my insulin resistant stuff. But there's also something else, something more psychological and less tangible that goes around this menopause that I think also needs embracing and facing, to help us kind of get our head around what's going on. And just having those thoughts, just having that thought in itself really helps go, I'm feeling particularly exhausted and quite shit today, and maybe that's not because I'm weak or I'm ill or I'm broken. Maybe it's just that I'm just tired, and I just need to simplify, prioritise and take care of myself. So I hope that's of help. Lots of love. Bye.